Hello, I'm Anthony Hobbs, and as you can see, this is the space station Deep Space Nine. Now, I think it was broadcast in America in 1993, but we didn't get it over here in England until 1995. And I remember hearing about it even before I saw the show, this new thing, Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And I asked a friend of mine, so what kind of Enterprise have we got? Is it Enterprise E, Enterprise F, And my friend said, it's not an Enterprise at all. The principal vehicle is not an Enterprise. And I was like, no, we can't have that. You can't do Star Trek without an Enterprise. No, the principal vehicle has to be the Enterprise, or Enterprise A, or Enterprise D, I thought it's unheard of doing Star Trek without an Enterprise. However, my attitude has changed a lot since then. Now I am sick to death of so many spaceships called Enterprise in Star Trek. Can we please have something else, Well, we've got that in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, yeah. And I think it was made before they cancelled the Next Generation show. And they thought it'll just be a repetition of what we've had before. So to make it a bit different, instead of a starship, it's a space station, yeah. They still contact alien life, just by staying perfectly still. Because you see, the space station is right next to a wormhole, and visitors come to the station every now and again, yeah. Well, they don't have to come through the wormhole. A lot of spaceships stop and dock at the station. So yeah, it's a bit different. It's the same concept, contact the unknown, but just in a space station instead. If you have a look at this space station here, closely here, these gaps in the circle that you can see along here, each one of them is capable of fitting a whole Federation starship for refueling or resupplying. And docking, but in other words, that tells you just how big this space station is. If those tiny bits can fit a whole starship on, then yes, the space station is enormous. It's like a little city in space. Yeah, huge, great big thing. And we see a lot of angles of the space station in the opening sequence of each show. And sadly, Gene Roddenberry died in 1991, so it was the first Star Trek thing that was not created by him. Yeah. And we start off with Commander Sisko, who is commander at first, and then in later series he's promoted to captain, so he's the official commander of the space station, if you like. Oh, and Captain Sisko has a beard in later series. I don't know why this is. Is it because he's been promoted? Is it because having a beard makes him look wiser? Or, I don't know. Or maybe the actor just wanted a beard. I don't know. And yes, we have a whole assortment of different characters. We have Quark, the Ferengi, who's a pure mercenary. We have Odo, the shapeshifter. We have Dr. Bashir, and we have Crewman Dax. And oh yes, Crewman Dax is a good character. And then later we had Ezri Dax, yeah. But in Star Trek 6 there's a character called Dax. Couldn't they have come up with a different name? That's a bit silly. Didn't anyone notice that? Well, there we are. Oh, and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Another thing that makes it different from the original and Next Generation is, you see, in the other TV shows, each episode is a separate adventure. It's not connected with the other stories at all. Well, there might have been the odd one where it was a two-parter, but you know what I mean. Each episode is a separate adventure. Well, not in Deep Space Nine, no. Sometimes they bring up a subject that happened about 3 episodes before that. Yeah. So the episodes are all connected together. It is effectively like a soap opera, like one great big saga, yeah. And who is the lead character? Well, at first it's like Captain Sisko, but there are some episodes where we see little or nothing of him, and it's all about Odo, or it's all about Dr. Bashir, or it's all about Chief O'Brien. Yeah. I don't think there is one lead character in the show. Yeah, they all seem to get a more or less equal amount of screen time, depending on what's happening in the story, yeah. So that's a bit different to the other shows. It's obvious the captain is the lead character, but no, Deep Space Nine a bit more flexible, yeah. And I suppose my favourite character is Odo, the shapeshifter, and yes, the special effects, when someone throws an object and it goes right through them, it's like the T-1000 effects, because T-1000 was very popular at the time, because T2 had recently happened, yeah. And Odo doesn't understand the concept of entertainment at first. He doesn't do anything for recreation. He's too busy all the time, yeah. So he finds it difficult to fit in, can't quite blend in with the other characters. And but gradually he warms to them. And there's one episode when he meets another shapeshifter, and he learns stuff about shapeshifters he didn't know about. So yes, Well, not just Odo, the other characters, they expand, they evolve, they learn new things. So yeah, that's good. We see new characters we didn't see before. We see like the Jem'Hadar, you know, who are technically, they didn't evolve naturally. They've been genetically modified, yeah. And they're the new enemy now, yeah. And we see, we only briefly saw Cardassians in Next Generation, but we see a lot more of them. We see a lot more Cardassians, not to be confused with Kardashians. And they're effectively the deadly enemy, well, with one exception. The Cardassian called Garak is a good guy, so it shows that they're not all bad. They're not all the same. They are individuals, yeah. And, so yes, a very enjoyable show. It takes a while to adapt to it, but it is a very good show. And there's just one thing. Babylon 5 was released in America the same year as DS9. But what came first, the chicken or the egg? Who copied the other? You know, 2 TV shows about a space station. Well, I really don't know. But I know this much. Deep Space Nine was more popular. Babylon 5 was good, yes, but Star Trek Deep Space Nine proved to be more popular. And, yes, Star Trek always seems to have the last laugh. It's always the most successful sci-fi TV show. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm Anthony Hobbs, and I'm never bored.